I got disconnected. Hi. Okay, so I'm back. Let me start from scratch. What's happening in Chiang Mai at the moment is that single evening there's like heavy rain, some intense rains, and it's kind of messing up my Wi-Fi connection. So I guess I have to use my a phone to create a portal for today. Yesterday there was this wind and this rain out here, so yeah, it's raining every evening, and then in the mornings and the afternoons it's just beautiful weather. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. As I was saying before I got disconnected and had to delete that video, is yesterday I asked in hashtag Winning Wednesday why was so hesitant to share our wins. And one of the things that I kept asking after that, I had this question just pop up in my head, and it's a question that a coach once asked me when I started working with him. And he was asking if when it came to my life, was I playing not to lose, or was I playing to win? And this is a very interesting question, because yesterday I started thinking about that as we're discussing Winning Wednesday and the reservation to sharing our wins. And I think when it comes to personal finance, this is a question worth asking. So are you playing not to lose, or are you playing to win? So here's a way that you will know if you're really playing to win and if you're playing to not to lose, and I'll explain the difference, right? So if you're playing not to lose, especially when it comes to personal finances, is you're just doing what's expected to keep yourself alive and to keep yourself afloat. The idea of even dreaming bigger and going for the financial wins or the financial dream that you truly want and desire, it's not even in your sphere of influence. It's not even something that you consider or think about. And this is really important to understand, because if you're playing not to lose, then just, you know, what's going to happen is you keep staying in the same position over and over. And often what happens is that we're very scared to go to dream bigger, to even put a rand or dollar amount on the dreams that we have, on the things that we want. We're very scared. Basically, we're run by our fears, and we have this fear of having to deal with money. The idea of actually mastering money scares us. So we just do the bare minimum. So you just think to yourself, again, this is when we're playing not to lose, right? You just think to yourself, well, this is what I have, and I've got to just work with this. The idea of getting more and having more and dreaming bigger, just like putting everything that you've got on the table and working to make it happen, is really scary. It's not even something that you can truly believe in. And a huge thing that really drives us when we're playing not to lose is fear. Everything that we do, especially when it comes to money, is very fear-based. It's very anxious. There's a lot of worry, and a lot of times we're not even owning that, right? And one of the things that I see over and over that we do when we're in that mindset is that it's all about, we have to keep up appearances. It has to appear as though we are fine financially, and we live within these brackets of what will others think. So it makes it harder for us to take risks. And what we do is, even when we're struggling financially, we put in a brave face and we put on this like whole positive attitude, because we're not willing to get into the gunk, into the pain of the finances, into the pain as to why our finances are like that. So that's when you're playing not to lose, right? Is that you're not even willing to get into the playing field in terms of finances. You're not even willing to figure out, why is it that other people have are able to do certain things, and you're not willing to pay the price. And in this case, I think when it comes to personal finance, the price is having to deal with your money story, childhood trauma, all that. So you're fine just playing not to lose, and you're just basically keeping afloat and keeping financial, keeping up your status, so people don't say, "Ooh, what was she trying? Why did she even attempt it?" Right? But here's the thing. So when we're playing to win, especially in our lives and financially, that's when we put everything on the line. It's like we're willing to go to the trenches. We're willing to go and learn the things that we don't know. So think of it as if you're learning to be a professional athlete or something. You have to be willing to get up every morning and do things that you're uncomfortable with. And in this case, well, in the work that I teach, is basically go into spaces that make you uncomfortable, where you have to see yourself, examine your financial behaviors, examine your financial stories, examine how you got to this point, examine the things that you need to change. This is how we play to win, right? Is that we make changes. Is that most times when we're playing not to lose, we're just like, oh, let me just make it through to the end of the month until I get my next paycheck, and I just can make it through and pay A, B, C, D, pay this, pay that. When you're in this moment of, you're saying, okay, personal finance wise, I'm playing to win. I want to own this. I want to go beyond this. You're saying, okay, I want to go beyond just living hand to mouth, and I want to figure out how to change this entire situation to really be what I want in, say, the next 5 years or whatever my dreams are. So I think that's something that we need to really consider. So in my own story, my own life, when my coach was asking me this and asking if I was playing not to lose or playing to win, you guys already know my story. I was very much in debt. So I was $60,000 in debt, which is about 700,000 Rand in debt. And I was in my 20s, and I just had no way. And in my head, it was just like, this is the best that I can do. The best that I can do is stay in debt and just pay whatever little bit I can pay off. I had tons of credit card debt, student loan debts. I owed people money. My life was a mess. I was anxious. I was waking up in the evenings and having panic attacks every time my bank statement came through, every time the phone rang. It was just a hot mess. I had no savings, no investments. I had no retirement annuities, nothing, right? So my whole thing was, I was just trying to keep up and keep up appearances. I never ever thought that there could come a point where I could be like, okay, I can not just have to keep up financially, because my whole life I'd seen people just trying to stay afloat. So the conversation for me to move beyond that had to be about, what kind of life do I truly want? And then the next thing my coach asked me is, what am I willing to do to get there? And this is the real question that you need to be willing to ask yourself, is what are you willing to do to get there? And for me at the time, I remember, because I was working with different coaches, and one of the things that Joe said to me is, you need to be willing to spend days going like hours and hours every day just sitting with your story and really going deep within yourself and doing the inner work. And then the other coach was saying to me, you need to be willing to do the practical stuff that you don't want to do when it comes to money and getting out of debt. You need to be willing to call creditors. You need to be willing to work with financial advisors. You need to be willing to get that education. And at first I was like, oh, this is a lot. But you know what? That's what it means. Most athletes, the reason why they become who they become and have the life that they have is because they're willing to get up every morning and do the work. Most of us are not willing to do the work, so we're just willing to just stay afloat. But if we want to go beyond that, we need to be willing to go deeper and do the things that most people are scared of. And it's very fascinating to me. The reason why I bring this up is because I'm going to share the coaching video, the follow-up video that I did with Zandile, and I think the video that we did yesterday, and me just asking her questions of what it's been like 6 weeks in the Money Magic course, where she shares that she's got savings for days. Those are her words. You'll see that in the video. And she shares how she's not just got savings for days, but that she's got a new client and people are paying her within 24 hours. She's just like, her life has completely transformed. And why is that? Because she was willing to do the inner work, which is really the hard work. A lot of people say to me, oh, but I'm so scared of dance meditations. I'm so scared of doing that inner work and looking at myself, really examining where I am and sitting with it and really changing my mindset, really forgiving my inner, like forgiving my parents, like really working through the family stories, because those things are painful. But you know what? Unless you do that, you're not ever able to break beyond the ceiling of just staying afloat and just playing not to lose. So there's work that you need to do in order for you to start playing to win. And it's not the fun. It goes beyond the fun visualization and affirmations work. It goes deeper. Okay, so, and it's not just the spiritual and emotional work, as I keep telling the Money Magic students in the Money Magic course, they can attest to this, is that we now do weekly goal setting worksheets where they have to account for how they spend their time and if the actions that they're taking are really in line with their income goals. So there's a lot of practical things as well that need to go into place, because we're training ourselves and we're changing our entire story around money, right? So I hope this makes sense. Let me know if this resonates with you. I'll be sharing the coaching video with that I did with Zandile soon, the follow-up video. But in the meantime, I'll be opening up the Money Magic course for registration in 2 weeks, so from April 20th until April 30th. And if you're interested in the course, get on the waiting list for that. So go to wealthymoney.com/Money Magic, and you'll get on a page that says that we're closed for registration. But if you want to get on the registration, you can you can get on the waiting list. So there's a little sign up form on the website. Just put your name and email details and you'll be able to get on the waiting list. Okay, so you'll get information when I do open up the course for registration, and I'll be doing a masterclass before the course opens for registration. So don't miss the masterclass, because my masterclasses are often quite cool. Okay, so see you guys later. Let me know what you think of today's video and let's have a conversation, right? Cheers.